NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship. After scoring a second-round victory over Big Ten foe Wisconsin, Hawaii has moved to the Northwest Regional Playoffs in Long Beach, California, where tonight they'll compete against arch-rival Pacific. It's a thrilling matchup between two Big West powers. The Wahine posted their two biggest wins of the season against the Tigers, defeating them in 3 straight sets on the first night, then sweeping the series in a fiercely contested 4-game match. But now, as Hawaii and Pacific meet again, the stakes have risen much higher. Tonight's winner advances to the regional final, where a victory means a trip to the NCAA Final Four. Live from the gold mine on the campus of Long Beach State University, it's the NCAA Women's Volleyball Northwest Regional Playoffs. In our first match tonight, the Rainbow Wahine tangle with the Tigers of Pacific. Down to 4 teams in the Northwest Regional: Hawaii, Pacific, Ohio State, and Long Beach State. How you doing, everybody? John Fink, and very happy to be standing by with one of the great coaches in the country, the Big West Coach of the Year, and tonight our analyst for the match, Kathy Gregory. Kathy, I know you'd rather be playing in that Mid-East Regional, but we're happy to have you here.
Well, I had the gun to my head, but thank God there were no bullets, but I'm happy to be here because this is going to be a great match. Pacific really is going to have to show they have some good ball control. The last time they played, they were in the shank tank, and the most important thing Pacific is going to have to do is play quick in transition. Hawaii, on the other hand, is going to have to pass on position so they can split the block, but the big thing for Hawaii tonight will be to stop the big UOP middle.
All right, so 2 teams in real need of some ball control and some good middle play. Those are our 7-11 keys, and we'll be back to the starting lineup right after this. Tonight's Bank of America starters: Johansson, Soltysik, Johns, Barbieri, Podesta, and we'll get to the rest of them. As an ace for Hawaii on the first serve, as Stephanie Shota, one of the starters, of course, for Hawaii. Of course, Benton Bosman on the outside, along with Shota, Anderson, the setter, Ljungqvist, Chase Brooks, and Atwood starting for Hawaii. It's 1-0 Hawaii. 2 teams looking for some good passing tonight to work their way into tomorrow night's final. And again, Hawaii with a quick point.
And Hawaii really is doing a good job of going to the middle early, but give Shota a lot of credit. She does her job. She comes in. She's serving aggressively, setting a good tone.
Another bad pass, overpass, free ball.
Well, what we said before is that UOP had to have consistent ball control. So we can see right now that they're not passing the ball on position.
3-0 right away in game 1. We'll play best 3 out of 5. Off the net and down on the Pacific side. 4-0 Hawaii. That time Crystal Atwood from the left side.
Well, really, UOP is having trouble passing the ball, and this is a great start for Hawaii. They really look aggressive.
Now the Tigers get their first chance, going back to serve. Number 2, Charlotte Johansson. They're all everything go-to person this year. She was really the only player for the Tigers who had a good match in Hawaii, Kathy.
Well, she really is one of the best middle attackers in the league.
Atwood off the net. Benton Bosman, nice dig. Here's Benton Bosman. She is blocked. It lands in. There's the big Hawaii roof. Hawaii leads the Big West, one of the top 20 teams in the country in blocking.
Well, Hawaii really is exercising their strength. When the ball is set outside, they're getting a good, tight 2-woman block.
Sarah Chase with a lollipop serve, a big high one here in the gold mine. Great dig by Carrie Anderson. Trouble for Pacific. It's going to be a free ball for the Rainbows. Bosman too close to the net. Again, Pacific, miscommunication, and a lift is called. And Pacific with some non-communication. Kathy, that was just real simple in December. They got to be talking on those free balls.
They look a little tentative. Setter Lisa Johnson is setting a little tight. At the beginning of the match, better to set the ball a little bit off the net and give the hitter an opportunity really to take a swing.
5-0 Hawaii. Better pass that time, but not a good play. On the outside, Barbieri comes across a little step-out move, and it's not there. John Dunning has to call timeout. Lisa Johns with the set. It's 6-0. Hawaii leads. Take a look at the team comparisons. And Kathy, not too much to differentiate these squads on the statistics chart.
Well, what's unbelievable is that they have the same strengths. It looks like they're a good offensive team, a good blocking team, and defense is pretty close. And so I really think it's going to come down to serving and maybe the most important thing, mental toughness.
Well, right now the mental toughness on the side of the Rainbow Wahine Pacific has come out and been very scattered with their passing and their lack of communication. But as we saw last week, Hawaii was down 8-0 to Hawaii before they got it together. We'll see if the Tigers can come back right now. Sarah Chase serving at 6-0 Hawaii. That time, not exactly the set again that Barbieri wanted, but she makes something good happen.
I think she hit that ball with her forearm. That was more like a stab, but that's a kill, and it goes down in the book, so that's the most important thing. UOP's offense a little slow at the start of this game.
Lisa Johns, second team All-Big West this year and last year with the serve. Bosman. Big hit by Atwood right through and over the block. Past Robin Schmidt, side out for Hawaii. Hawaii using the left side quite effectively so far.
They established the middle early, but the tempo by Carrie Anderson is just much quicker than UOP, and UOP not getting out to get a good block.
That ball hit wide by Schmidt. It is 7-0 Wahine.
And really, notice UOP, they're not talking at all, John. They really look a little intimidated.
Tough serve that time and not played well in the middle. Johns goes to Barbieri in the middle and it goes right past her. It's 8-0.
Well, it might be interesting to see if he makes a switch on the setter because they're really not connecting, but maybe it's just the first game. Give the setter, Lisa Johns, a little more time.
Well, we saw Sacha Koldemeyer come in Hawaii and do a great job getting UOP back into the match the second night. He is the freshman, the heir apparent. And here's Benton Bosman, first team All-Big West. Atwood again with a kill over the block. Crystal Atwood.
Well, it really looks like UOP's blockers are taking line and they're giving Crystal Atwood cross court, and that's her best shot. I think they're going to have to move the block a little inside.
Crystal Atwood has really changed the game around this year, as you mentioned, moving the ball not only down the line but also cross court. And it's worked very effectively this season for Crystal Atwood.
That's really a good kill by Robinson. They've been going exclusively the left and middle, and they've got to get the right side going.
0-8 Pacific trying to get on the board. Key Williams into the match and hits her first ball wide. And folks, that's one of the reasons Key has not played much in the last few matches. She hits it so hard.
Well, you know, it's a hard situation, though. Sometimes she comes in and she's got to hit the ball. I think the most important thing, keep the first one in, then start to terminate a little later.
There's a bad pass on a ball that I'm not sure Crystal Atwood thought was in. Randy Brooks from behind the 10-foot line. A little bit of a Pacific disease now is Hawaii with two unforced errors.
It seems like when the ball is passed to opposition, the hitters aren't keeping the ball in, and that's really what you have to do. Give your defense a chance or your block. Keep the ball in play.
That's right. If you hit it out, it's pretty hard to play. Ace serve. Lindquist moved out of the way. The back row wasn't there, and suddenly it's 3-8.
Well, serving is so important in women's volleyball. You have to communicate, and really, it was a great serve, and they just have to talk a little more.
All right, Barbieri now with 3-8, another ace serve.
Well,
This is one of the things these two teams, they just don't seem to talk sometimes.
They just don't talk. I'm quite surprised they're so quiet. As I said before, you have to serve aggressively. Look at the concentration, a good contact. Now, are they talking? Look at, they both watch it fall.
Lindquist, and there's talking in the back. Two Pacific players go for it, and an absolute whiff. Robin Schmidt swings and misses.
That's strike one. Is that a foul tip? Does that count? Does she get a couple more? I don't mean to laugh, but this is what happens when pressure gets to you in an NCAA game. They look a little tight, both teams.
Lindquist, freshman of the year in the Big West. Now pass by Pacific, and it's a free ball. Let's see if Hawaii can put it away. Step out move, Chase. Off the block, kept in play by the Tigers. Nice defense that time. Key Williams, not a good swing, not where she wanted it. Pacific gets a long rally to their side, and Kathy, Lisa Barbieri putting that both teams having a chance there, nobody making an emphatic statement.
Well, I think he hit her first ball out, so then they swung her inside. She's a little tentative, and I think she has to get in the groove.
Sarah Chase had to hang in the air and got enough of that one, and it was an unintentional dink, and it works.
Well, the set's a little bit high, and so a hitter has to make an adjustment. She waits, look at the hang time. Again, not a good contact, but the most important thing, the ball goes down.
I believe that's that fingernail play. She's been working on 8-4. Hawaii hustling for that ball to keep it in play. Net violation called up front against Hawaii.
Well, this match really is having different ebbs. One team plays well, Hawaii. Now UOP starting to establish a little bit defense, and their ball control is picking up.
4 serving 8. Terrible pass by Hawaii. Roof up front, Key Williams and Sarah Chase. That's one way to look about passing the ball, is just knock it back over.
Well, Key didn't get a kill, but she said, if I'm not going to get a kill, then I better get a block. They tried to run a short slide, but look at, they're all over that. Johansson nowhere to go on that.
Stephanie Schroeder comes in and puts the serve deep for Hawaii. Good serve. Sarah Chase, nice athletic move to get a ball over that was wide of her. Benton Bosman is blocked up front. And then she hits one long. A free ball that she should have just kept in play, as you mentioned, Kathy. She hits it long.
Well, they're not getting good approaches, and these big hitters, they sometimes have only one speed. You've got to have a couple of speeds, namely keep it in speed.
Serve again by Schroeder. Chance for Hawaii outside. Atwood through the block. It's 10-4. John Dunning looking to call his second timeout. He's checking with his coaches. He stands up.
And I think he's trying to say, can we not block and go out there, give up line on Atwood, and force her to try to hit line.
10-4 Hawaii. Second timeout called by Pacific. Chevron Series record, Hawaii leads the all-time series 50 times these squads have met. Hawaii's won 28 times. Hawaii leads in postseason 3-2, and the last meeting, Hawaii winning in Hawaii in Clum Gym, that Halloween match. And that's what I was saying. Caldemeyer came in and did a pretty good job, and if this keeps up, we may be seeing Caldemeyer for the Tigers.
I think since it's such an important game, they might give Lisa Johns a little bit more time and hope the ball control improves, and might not really all be her fault.
Passing has not been great. That was not a great pass, and Hawaii with a ball they could do something with. Brandy Brooks, good swing. Goes cross court, nice angle shot by Brooks, 11 for Hawaii.
Well, Hawaii is clearly showing that their ball control is really on position. They're talking on the replay, and they're putting UOP in trouble on the passing.
Benton Bosman gets a good swing, but it's roofed. It's 12-4. And here comes Caldemeyer. So John Dunning listening to me. I appreciate that. I agree with you. It's definitely not Lisa
really,
John's
but
fault.
sometimes when you have nothing, they have no more timeouts. He's got to make a switch, if not just to get something going for the second game.
Let's see what Caldemeyer does. She does a little step-out move, and there's the Hawaii defense. Comes off from Brooks, off of Benton Bosman, off of Brooks' head.
And actually, that shows some pretty good guts from the freshman setter. Sasha goes right to a quick set, no fear in her setting.
Nice dig that time by Podesta. Johansson doesn't get a complete piece of that dig. And it's a good rotation now for Hawaii because Johansson, who served that, will be in the back row.
Well, it's a good rotation because they have 3 big blockers, and UOP only has 2 hitters, and Hawaii is taking advantage of it.
Well, you know they're going to go outside now because you've got Caldemeyer outside. If Hawaii can get a pass here, which they will, here's Atwood. She goes right in the middle. Nice perception play by Crystal Atwood. Nobody came up in the back. It's 13-4.
Well, actually, Tara Podesta came up, but she tried to dive and take that, and she really sort of ran right by it.
13-4. Good serve and a bad pass. And it's not going to go over. It's going to be 14-4. And suddenly, just like that, Hawaii is 1 point away from taking a rather simple game number 1, but it's not over yet. Desiree Laipam will check in. Laipam entering the game for Benton Bosman. That's an unusual substitution up front.
And she really hasn't played much front row, but it shows the kind of trouble they're in. Right now, they take their best outside hitter because she cannot get a kill.
Dumped by Caldemeyer, but it's kept in play by Hawaii. Caldemeyer does that very effectively, that dump, and UOP ends up getting the side out. Reminiscent of Melanie Beckenhauer when she was at Pacific, one of her best moves was that little dump.
Well, Lisa Barberia didn't play the first match, as you mentioned before, and now she's really going to have to do something in the middle because the outside cannot get the job done.
I thought Barbieri would make a big difference tonight because she did not play against Hawaii. She's probably their best or second best blocker. And she had stress fractures in her shins, both shins, and missed like 13 matches. But we haven't even called her name yet tonight, except for balls that have gone by her.
Because most of the passes have been 15 feet off the net. But you have to give Hawaii a lot of credit.
And here's Robin Amo getting her first shot at NCAA regional play, and she freshmans the ball into the net.
Well, that's what happens. Sometimes that you lift your arm up, it gets like 100 pounds just to serve that ball over.
There's a new wrinkle for Hawaii to bring her in for Brandy Brooks in the back, give Brandy a break. Anderson and Amo both on right now. Crystal Atwood with another kill.
Well, they really cannot time the block on Crystal. It appears that the UOP block is going up way too early. They're going to have to wait, and Crystal Atwood is having her way today.
14-4, and Crystal Atwood will serve for the game. Net violation called up front against Carrie Anderson. A mistake as that ball was playable. Hawaii aggressive at the net, a couple of net violations.
And what's interesting is you really could probably soft block UOP the way they're hitting right now, or even call some down balls.
Good serve. It's shanked into the crowd by Atwood.
And that might be the best serve I've seen all night. That was about 1 inch over the net, and the bottom fell out of that serve.
Great serve by Barbieri. Barbieri missed 12 matches because of those stress fractures, but she has played great according to John Dunning since she's come back into the lineup. Nice dig by Caldemeyer. Overpass by Hawaii, but miss hit up front. Oh, mistake by Hawaii. Nobody goes for a ball in the middle. Kathy, do you think Carrie Anderson should have come over for that?
Carrie Anderson has got to take that ball. She's calling for the hitter, but that ball almost hit her on the toe. She could have just directly set that ball right to the hitter.
6-14, Pacific staging a mini rally and stopping some Hawaii momentum. P. Williams is blocked, but a great dig by Amo. Back set, only one Hawaii blocker, but it's not hit down by the Tigers. That's hit down and into the face. That is a bounce facial off of Lai Pam by Key Williams.
I think Key Williams said, I have not had too many kills and they blocked me, and now she decides to get serious, and that's what we call some serious heat.
Ljungqvist serving for the game, and she gets a good serve, but it tips the net. Not sure I would have to worry about bullet serves at 14-6.
It seems so easy, doesn't it, John? But sometimes you try too hard. Only I know that very well.
We'll talk about that.
Yes.
UC Santa Barbara being upset by Minnesota last week.
Oh, thanks, John. Way to make me feel good.
Just wanted to make sure everybody knew why you were here.
Tell a million people why don't you?
Net violation that time called up front against Pacific.
I think they called it on Charlotte, and she's saying, as every blocker would say, not me.
No,
I didn't hit the net. Couldn't have been me. Had to be the little setter next to me.
She would be telling the truth. She's a Dean's Honor Roll student. She wouldn't lie about that. Carrie Anderson serving again for the game. Overpass, free ball, Chase gets it. So thanks to a Pacific error, Hawaii finally does end game one, and they do it in relative ease. Hawaii wins game one, 15-6. We mentioned one of the great series of all time, these two squads, and 4 years in a row when they met in postseason play, the winner went on to the national championship match. In '85, Pacific beat Hawaii, and in '86, in the regionals, went on to win national titles. In '87, Hawaii beat Pacific and then went to the Final Four where they beat Illinois and Stanford. In '88, Hawaii beat Pacific and ended up losing the title match to Texas. And in 1991, Hawaii knocked Pacific out in Stockton, 3-0. And Kathy, you know what? You and I are hitting as well as Pacific is right now.
Well, I think Pacific is hoping there's going to be some numbers that aren't zeros next to that. But look at that hitting. That is 0. And why? Because no ball was passed close to the net. But look at Hawaii. They're bombing away. One of their highest hitting percentages. They have very few errors. Look at that. And also they're playing some good defense.
6
you
blocks.
can understand why that's really a rout in game 1.
Well, in Pacific, if it weren't for the 3 aces, really would have had no offense from a point standpoint. Kathy, we're in mid-December. These teams are obviously good teams. Other than the early part of the game jitters, where's the communication? Why do you think Pacific comes in so flat?
I think that sometimes if your personality is where you don't talk and you're a hitting blocking team, you're not really used to coming out of it when you're depending upon your defense and passing. And I think that's the problem. That's not one of their strengths. And so they're going to have to try to at least pass the ball a little bit closer and keep the ball in play. But ball control is not the strength of UOP.
Well, let's mention again Kathy Gregory, the Big West Coach of the Year from Santa Barbara. And Kathy, a tough loss at home against Minnesota. Tell the folks in Hawaii a little bit about what happened. You were ahead in game 4.
Well, ahead in game, going to win the game at 14-13. I'm thanking the dear Lord for the great season and getting one more round, and it didn't do it. We served the ball out. One of my players got injured, and it just wasn't to be.
Minnesota came back and goes on to the regionals, and Kathy Gregory is happy to be here. See, I feel this is kind of a catharsis.
Yeah, I think that's it. Good.
Pacific gets the first point of game number 2. Back set to Chase, and she puts it down, and so Hawaii will take it. I believe if Hawaii can come out strong and really start running away here, Kathy, Pacific's going to have a real hard time coming back.
Hawaii is really showing a good offensive attack. They're using the right side. When she's past the center line, they're forcing the middle blocker not to be able to get outside.
Shota with a good pass up front. Anderson, short set. Ljungqvist puts it down. Didn't hit it hard. The Pacific, again, between the front and the back row.
I think you really have to give Carrie Anderson a lot of credit. She had to sit on the bench, but when she was called upon to now direct this team, she's running a great tempo, and she has that kind of energy tonight.
She really has sparkled after being benched for about a third of the season, right in the middle. She came back in, and she has really helped propel Hawaii by moving the offense around, and she provides she's gotten better defensively. She's getting on the ground more and really has done the job.
But UOP cannot find the court. They cannot keep the ball in the court.
Overpass, free ball. Brooks doesn't put it down. One of the Fink Cardinal rules, if you're going to take a free ball like that, you've got to put it down. Nice save by Shota. Outside, here's Atwood. A lot of patty caking the ball around, but no one wants to put it away. And now Atwood hits it off the blocker, a ball that was going out. And Lisa Barbieri gives Hawaii a 3rd point.
Well, I tell you this, UOP is in shock, I think, because they just aren't even bending or moving. But Hawaii taking great advantage, and that's what you got to do. If somebody's not ready to play, just pour it on.
3-1 Hawaii. There's a good set and a block up front, but a good dig. Back set to Brooks. Oh, Ljungqvist just gets a paw out on that ball to keep it in play nicely. Another good dig by Atwood. A lot of balls being blocked, but kept in play. There's a smart hit. Very nicely done that time. Soltysik, 2nd team All Big West and a District 8 Academic All-American, said, if I can't put it through the block, I'm just going to dink it over.
I think they finally realized that they're blocking all the balls, so she is very effective. We call that an off-speed roll shot right between 2 defenders.
1-3. Anderson has to move quickly to get to that set. Cross court goes Atwood. That new wrinkle she's added this year, going all over the court.
Well, I think she's having one of the best matches I've seen. I think that's probably close to 7 or 8 kills, and it's just an outstanding job because she's getting a kill every time she hits. You can't ask anything more.
Time she tries to go through the block, and the block is there. She says, maybe I will go cross court again.
I think she said, well, I've used cross court. So a hitter says, should I maybe change my mind? But she hits the ball way too low, tries to cover herself, but not a high hit. Contact was very low.
Little X play in the middle. That time Atwood comes up. And now Shota, who has her 1 kill for the year already, just pops it over.
Well, UOP's doing a little bit better job of running the middle. When the ball is passed on position, they're running what we call that 31 set, and it's been pretty effective.
Johansson's been playing great late in the season as she gets that serve in, averaging 5.5 kills a game over the last 4 matches. She has played in every UOP game this year, and she's going to have to pick it up a notch. Shotis checks out, and of course up front is Key Williams, and the one player we haven't seen so far has now been resigned to perhaps a super sub role. Is Kenyatta Lovelace. They haven't needed her yet. There's another big block for Hawaii. Youngquist emotionally.
Youngquist is really doing great. It's easy to see why she's the freshman of the year. She's a great blocker. Look at the timing. She's so far over, they can't even cover that. That's what we call straight down on the block.
Back row. It's dug by Chase, and here's Key Williams with a big leap and off the block, and she's just so strong. You try to go high hands on Key, and it ends up 12 rows back.
Well, that's what's so great about Key. If she can't terminate, now I think she realizes to lay a little and let the block go up early, and no way to run that down.
As a blocker, you've got to respect her power, and Key can take something off the ball and cause all kinds of problems. Or she can drill it.
Well, she's been hitting mainly cross court, and I think she realized that Lisa Johns was giving her 3 feet of line. And the responsibility of the hitter is, if line is open, are you going to give me 3 feet? Well, if you are, you will pay the price, and that's a great hit.
We have the jugs gun on that, 127 miles an hour, I think. 6-2 Hawaii leading. Hawaii won the first game. There's a dump by Johns. Caught a break off the net that lands on the floor.
Dave's yelling a little bit. They thought that maybe she threw that ball, but actually the block, Key Williams could have just taken one step off the net and played it.
2-6. Anjanette Richards now checks in for the Tigers. Richards has played in about 2/3 of the matches, and she has played great when she's come in lately. She's hitting only .231 for the season, but .359 in the last 18 matches, so she's been a real spark plug for the Tigers. Ball hit wide.
Well, she's left-handed and she plays the right side, but again, they give her a low set. Her first hit, I think you have to put the ball a little bit higher up in the air.
Pacific this season is 1-7 when it loses game number 1. That's an indication of what may happen. Benton Bosman, who we haven't heard much from, gets a touch. Key Williams off the high hands. Gets a kill. Benton Bosman from about 8 feet off the net. Puts it down.
Well, they really need Dominique to get into this match. This is your power hitter. They set the ball a little higher this time. Now look at how she hangs, and she uses the blocker's hands. Key tries to go, but she can't dig it out.
Benton Bosman serving. Ooh, a lift is called. Randy Brooks tried to call Carrie Anderson off it. Again, she is the number 2 setter out there, and it was bad communication, but at least it was 2 players talking.
She said something, but next time she gives her the elbow right to the neck, and she won't take that ball.
Is that how you do?
That's what you tell
elbow
them.
To the neck.
You say, get right out there, and they won't put their hands up.
Key goes cross court. It lands in. And it's side out to Hawaii, but she drilled that ball.
Well, it's really hard to tell. Sometimes Key disguises her approach. That time, she held the block. She hangs. She's facing that way, but it's so sharp, they can't really dig that up.
In the middle that time with a nice hit. Number 14 is Barbieri.
And it looks like Sasha Kaufmeyer is setting a little bit better rhythm. They've switched both setters in and out. You can show that maybe really John Dunning can't make a decision as to which setter to use.
Barbieri serving. She had a great match against Florida State. Chase dumps it in the middle. Not what Hawaii really wanted to do with the play, but they'll take it. Just to finish that thought, Barbieri against Florida State had UOP's first triple-double of the year with 11 kills, 12 digs, and she was part of 10 blocks. That's the first triple-double at UOP since Kathy Scotland turned the trick back in 1990. A serve. That's the second time tonight that Barbieri's gotten confused.
Well, you know, she hasn't played for 12 matches. She is an offensive player, and now they're asking her to pass, and I think that's probably the hardest part, to be a way to have to pass the ball when you haven't done it for 12 games.
Well, she played great against Notre Dame and UCLA, and I just mentioned how well she played against Florida State, and it went in the dumper. Well, we call that bocce in Hawaii.
These are trap sets. You better get some helmets on to cover these, because these sets are being trap-packed to everyone.
8-3, Hawaii leads. It's Budweiser Bud Fact. The most consecutive games won this season. Hawaii won 13 in a row, and Pacific won 9, and Pacific lost 5 in a row, and at one point Hawaii lost 8. And I gotta believe those 8 for Hawaii came when they got skunked against, maybe it was against Long Beach, and trying to think when that would have been.
And I think Pacifics is asking for one back if they could trade that stat and get one here tonight.
That's right. Tonight's when you really need them. Over set, and a great play by Sacha Kaldemeyer. Sacha Kaldemeyer way up. Was she over the net?
Well,
no, they're giving it back to UOP, and
yeah.
Dave Shoji can't believe it.
Well, the thing is, she was back row, and now Rick Olmsted is going to tell them that she was a back row player, and she is above the net, and I think that they will call that. The head official missed that, and Rick's responsibility is to come over and tell her she was in the back row. Yeah, see, she's making the sign now.
There's the call. So referee Tanya Martin-Beal agreeing with Rick Olmsted.
Back row attacker called on UOP, point Hawaii.
And that makes it 9-3 Wahine. No argument from the UOP side. Again, pass very close to the net, and a ball hit wide. Again, Kaldemeyer had a tough time making that set, Kathy. She had to pull it back from going into the net.
Well, she's only 5'7". They're passing the ball too tight, but I cannot believe UOP cannot keep the ball in the court.
10-3. You know, it's not like Hawaii is serving in Clem Gym with funky air.
They're not serving that aggressively. They just don't have a good rhythm. A good kill by Anjanette Richards, left-handed, hits cross court. Somebody's got to pick it up out here for UOP, or this is going to be over quickly.
Well, the towel guy may pick it up if they don't get out here soon. It is 10-3 Wahine. Oh, overplayed, and again, 2 UOP players on a free ball instead of one passing it. And Kathy, I said earlier, my cardinal sin, on a free ball, if you can't get a kill on it, you've got to pass it to a teammate.
But UOP is really showing that no matter how much size and hitting ability you have, ball control might be the most important thing right now in women's volleyball, because they have none.
We have talked for 2 years about Hawaii and the fact they've had some problems with ball control, and it's UOP tonight that is having a real difficult time. The underrated pass. A very underrated pass, which is obviously the first part of the game.
Very important. I think really, as teams have gone to such big size, they have really lost a lot of the ball control.
There's a ball hit wide. Not exactly the position that Ljungqvist wanted for that quick set. So it's 4-10. Natasha Soltishek looking over to the sideline. Danny Gibson McHugh and Joe Wortman. Assistance to John Dunning, telling her where to serve. Oh, nice play by Brooks. Brandy Brooks got up, made sure she didn't go over the net. Nice athletic move, just dinked it.
What's great about the play is that she stands there and then she realizes it comes back and takes a swing the second time. You got to be ready.
Kathy, on a free ball like that, when you tell your players, I mean, do you say you got to be 95% sure you can kill it or else pass it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. If it's really close to the net, then you hit it. If not, but you should be screaming octave 27. Who's to take that ball so it doesn't go over the net?
4-10. Atwood comes up in the middle. Blocked by Hawaii, and it goes back over to the Wahine.
Well, there really is no deception in the UOP attack. If they're going to run middle, they directly do not have any deceptive action, and the setter's responsibility really is to try to be deceptive. No fake. She goes right to the middle. Both blockers are up. Look, she's a little late, but no coverage. UOP is not covering their attackers.
One of our 7-11 keys was the middle blocking position for UOP. It has not reaped dividends so far. Good dig by Atwood on a big hit by Benton Bosman. And here's a free ball for the Tigers, and they hit it. Oh, it was touched up front. Okay, Crystal Atwood made a good effort for that because it was touched by her blocker.
I know, you're not quite sure, but the rule is if you think it is, you've got to go and play it. Key was a little bit late in setting up on the block.
Lisa Johns serving.
Lisa Johns, third on the all-time assist list at Pacific, which is saying a lot. 2 of the best all-time collegiate assist people, Beckenauer and Liz Hurt, played at UOP. And Hawaii getting it right back. And this is key for Hawaii, not having that mid-game malaise and letting Pacific back into it.
And
as
really
you can
what
see,
they're doing
a good
it was
hit.
with a great right-side attack, and UOP just cannot get in position to dig anything.
Ball lands just outside. Hawaii fans thought it was in, but it was wide. Good contingent of Hawaii fans, as always, following its team. Benton Bosman, she's been in double figures in kills 19 of 30 matches. She's got a way to go tonight. Key Williams outside, a big high set. Off the net, did it hit the antenna? It did hit the pole, so it'll be a point for UOP. Thought I heard that thing rattle. It's surprising it's still standing after she hits it.
But what's interesting is the blockers, they don't even yell anything. They're just trying to play the ball. Sometimes I don't even think the blockers see if that hit.
5-10. Brooks overpasses. And Carrie Anderson got a nice piece of it in the middle, but nobody was there to help her out, so it's 6-10.
UOP is picking up their serving, but I think Hawaii got the big lead, and they've made a couple errors, and again, passing is turning out to be the most important thing in this match. Or I should say lack of it.
Key Williams is roofed. It lands wide, though. So side out to Hawaii.
And Key turns around praying, I hope that's out. When you hit, you get blocked. You try to act cool, but she's glad that was out.
Desiree Lapham returns for Pacific.
Lapham comes in the back row. We've not seen Benton Bosman get a better passer in there. Somebody can get on the floor and dig, hopefully, for John Dunning's Tigers. Anderson goes back set to Brooks. Only one blocker got up, but a good block by Barbieri.
Well, Hawaii now is hitting into the block. UOP is adjusted. It looks like they brought the block inside. UOP waits. Look at way inside. She tries to go off the hands of Natasha, but they're hitting the ball too low.
Third set, and Chase is partially blocked, and UOP with a chance. That'll be 4 hits as coming up, Soltysik couldn't make a play on it.
Well, what's amazing is that Antoinette Richards plays right side. Your responsibility is to be able to set the ball, and she gave her the low jet stream, and she had to bump it over. Really, their off-ball play is not very consistent either.
10-6. A couple of unforced errors. Hawaii's let Pacific creep back into game 2. There's a bad pass, but a good set. Nice set that time, off the net.
Well,
that was a nice play.
Yeah, it was a nice play, but Carrie Anderson was already in on a down ball, and there was really only one blocker. I think she has to stay and dig first before you release.
So Richards to serve with the lefty serve, goes right at Shota, overpassed. Kept in play by Anderson, and now a chance for Atwood. Ball might have been out, and it's going to cost Hawaii as Johansson dunks it. Youngquist now turns to Crystal Atwood, said, was that out? But again, Kathy, if there's any question, you got to go for the ball.
They're really not communicating on coverage. On coverage, you got to yell somebody's name out, and then you know if it's your turn to take the ball.
Fans, some of them from Hawaii, some of them from the Southern California area, including parents and Hugh Yoshida, athletic directors in that crowd. Good Hawaii crowd. Kathy, interesting point you bring up. You think the ball may be having an impact.
I'm telling you, it looked like a brand new ball. They're spraying free balls. It doesn't look broken in. Sometimes they're supposed to throw it out, and I think it's just flying around a little bit. And look at there, it goes again.
Now, what would that do to the ball being new?
It makes it float, and it's not broken in, and it's just, it moves too much.
Is that scientific?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds good, though. I doubt it's scientific.
It did.
No.
It's that air quality in the ball or something. All right. Sarah Chase serving. Hawaii gets the side out. That's what you want after a timeout, is to make a play and have it work. And right through the block, Soltysik starting to heat up.
Well, UOP is starting to pass the ball closer to the net, and that's one of the fastest 4 sets. Before, they've been going high outside. The responsibility is a quick 4 set, and she beats the outside blocker and uses the tool shot.
That time, Youngquist gets a ball she couldn't handle and drills it into the first row of the bleachers. It's 8-10.
And this could be a great comeback by UOP because it looked like this game was out of reach, but now it looks like Hawaii's tentative.
Brooks goes through the block and goes outside. That's 3 unforced errors by Hawaii on their last 4 hits. 9-10. Off the block, it's going to be off the side of the net and side out to Hawaii. So Atwood gets it back.
Well, a nice hit by Crystal Atwood. That time she delayed a little. It's responsibility to hit her. If the block is up early, wait, then usually you go for the hands.
Benton Bosman comes back in for Lipam. You get 12 substitutions in a game. You can come into a match 3 times. If you start, that counts as 1. So the coaches having to use their substitutions carefully. And sometimes they'll use a substitute to slow down momentum if they don't want to use a timeout. Off the block, and back over to UOP. So Hawaii led 10-4. They can't get a point.
Hawaii is serving now the ball, what we call the cupcakes, and now UOP is passing on position, and they're going to the middle, and Hawaii can't stop it.
Johansson goes from deep in the gym, but serves to one of Hawaii's better passers. And Ljungqvist gets a step-out move after a good pass from Shota. Kathy, the official volleyball term cupcake, not to be confused with the lollipop serve.
They're both the same. The step-out is one of the hardest balls to block. Why? Because they're off 1 foot, and you really can't see which direction they're hitting the ball.
Mishandled by Soltysik on a serve.
And that's really what Hawaii needs to do, pick up the serving.
You mentioned Hawaii's got to get their serve to different positions. It's now 11-9. They go right back at Soltysik. Better pass that time. Ben Bosman with a big hit.
And a nice cross-court hit, and she really hasn't started to do anything, and they depend so much on her. She's a left side hitter, a good 2-step approach, but the most important thing, she hits between 2 defenders.
Good serve by Johns. It was right into the net. It's a ball you've got to hit over from behind the 10-foot line.
I just think that Hawaii's getting tentative. They got sometimes when you get easy points and you're really not playing that well, you think it's you. And then the minute another team starts to pick it up, you get a little nervous.
Going for the tie now is UOP. Key Williams off the block. And it's tied up at 11. I think Key Williams would like that ball a little bit closer to the net. She had to hit it from about the 10-foot line.
Well, it appears now Hawaii is going exclusively outside, and UOP does have a strength of good blocking, so this is going to be a tough situation. They only have 2 hitters. Last time Atwood dumped one into the net in the back row, so they're going to probably have to swing the hitters and try to isolate.
This could be a real key moment. We are tied at 11-11 in game 2. Hawaii won game 1 easily and had a 10-4 lead. Big moment here in game number 2. Key Williams drills that one. Looking for the touch, she's not going to get it, and here comes Kenyatta Lovelace. Lovelace checks in for Key Williams, who's hitting a little bit wild now.
I think that's a good move. You know, as a coach, you have to make a tough decision, and you have to really make a change, and I think that's a good move. You've got to give a girl a chance, and we'll see what happens. Kenyatta knows probably the set's going to go to her. Probably so does UOP.
Let's see if they go to Lovelace. No, they go back set. And that was a good play by Anderson. I think they were thinking Lovelace. They might have been leaning Lovelace.
Very good play by her. She waited a little bit and she didn't give it away. And as a result, a really nice kill. They needed that.
Ljungqvist trying to tie it up for Hawaii. Benton Bosman off the high hands and right over Atwood.
I mean, this game is like a pendulum. It swings on one side, it swings on the other. And UOP, who gave them the wake-up call? Somebody did.
Well, these teams are both too good at times to let it just fall apart like UOP was early in the match. Lovelace first swing took something off it. Here she goes again. Again, not hitting it full, and it costs her. It's 13-11. Lovelace being very careful, I think, not to make a mistake early.
Well, the problem is she's not getting a good approach. After she's blocked, she's got to back up and get an approach. If you're going to be an aggressive player, she's no approach, and so she hits the ball into the block. Now the coverage is there, but Hawaii is getting shaky.
Hawaii down now. It's 13-11 Pacific. Hawaii wins the first game 15-6. Game 2, Hawaii blows out to a 10-4 lead. And now they find themselves trailing. Pacific serving at 13-11. Kathy, Hawaii looking like Pacific did early in the match.
It's amazing, and as I said before, I think you get a false sense of confidence. You think it's your playing. UOP started to really get some good ball control. Look at now they're talking, and Hawaii's not saying a word. Hawaii's going exclusively left side, and they can't get a kill.
See what Hawaii set up during the timeout. Good serve this time. They go outside, and Lovelace goes off the back row. Good swing by Lovelace. Let's see if that gets her adrenaline flowing.
And really what it was a nice approach. That time she got back a little bit further and see her athletic ability. Look at the hang time, and that really is a great hit.
Ball blocked, but it's kept alive by UOP. That time it's blocked and not kept alive. And Lovelace, who has such great leaping ability, really took Wisconsin out of the match last week.
You can't ask anything of a player but to come in crunch time and deliver. This is a great one-on-one block. Look at how she gets way over the net.
Great shot of her left hand getting a piece of that ball and putting it down. Outside, Lovelace through the block. Benton Bosman, not a great pass. Hawaii lets a ball go that they thought was out. That's a ball you make, and it lands inside.
Well,
out.
I think again, Carrie Anderson is thinking coming into set, and the responsibility of the setter is to dig first. But no, she doesn't say anything. It is a deep corner, but again, where's the communication on that play?
13-12. There's a mistake by Hawaii that works. Overpass.
And Carrie Anderson saying, what do you mean a mistake? I planned that. I shot that over. That's why I'm such a smart setter.
Now Jocelyn Robbins, the freshman redshirt from IAEA, checks in. And she'll go in to serve for Kenyatta Lovelace, who was in for Key Williams. So Dave Shoji pulling out all the stops here, trying to save game number 2. Hawaii needs a point here. They trail 12-13. Good floater serve. And right between Robbins and Ljungqvist. And I got to wonder if maybe putting new people on sometimes, there's no communication
I
there.
think that, but I also wonder why Hawaii's not stacking their block and moving it into the middle and stopping the middle.
13-12, the left-handed Anjanette Richards. Oh, good effort in the back row, but Barbieri can't get enough of it. Hawaii holds Pacific at 13, and now Sarah Chase will try to tie it up. Big moment in the match again in the late stages of game 2. Chase overpasses and not hit well up front by Schmidt. And cross court goes Atwood. So actually it was Johansson. Johansson with a 3-ball, Kathy, and she didn't put it away, and now it's tied.
Well, it's a great attack because it looks like both teams right now are just going to go to the left side, and a nice kill.
And John Dunning calls timeout. The chess match goes on. It's tied up at 13. In Long Beach, Hawaii 13, Pacific 13. Kathy, you're John Dunning. You're in that timeout. What's the play you call right now?
Well, I think I have to see where the hitters are there. It looks like, see if they're in a 6-2 right here or the setters at the net. I think you're going to have to go to Johansson here. Either bring her around on a step out. Now Natasha's moving to the other side, or maybe they'll keep her. I think you have to go to your big hitter, go to Johansson right here and see if she can get you a kill.
All right, so we'll see if they do. First, Sarah Chase has to serve it in for Hawaii. She does good serve. Tough pass at the net. Free ball for Hawaii. And a roof too far back. Randy Brooks had the set. Atwood couldn't get a good run at that ball. And on the mistake.
Well, this is a chance for a point. You make a dig, but again, look at the no approach. Lets the ball get behind her, but keep it in play.
Soltysik serves. Robbins, nice pass. Ljungqvist right in the middle. There's that short set. It's worked all year long.
And she gets up so early, but what I like best about her, look at her aggressive spirit. Now she's calling out the hitters. She wants to really make the play. And that's the kind of personality you have to have in your players.
Named captain midway through the season. Roof by Hawaii, and it's Ljungqvist and Carrie Anderson, and now it's 14-13, and now Hawaii with an all-important chance to win game number 2 after the Tigers had come back. Let's see if Brooks can serve it in. She does. Ooh, pass close to the net, but jammed. Johansson, big time.
Well, I'm surprised. I think they thought that they weren't going to set the middle, but you've got to stop the best hitter, give up someone, and go with the strength, and Hawaii failed to do that.
Well, now Johansson's back row, so if Hawaii can get a side out, they could be in good position. Brooks from behind the 10-foot line. Kept in play for the tie. Benton Bosman, no, she dumps it right to Brooks. And Hawaii gets it back. Benton Bosman taking a chance, perhaps in retrospect.
I
Got
think
a
when the
swing at
game
it.
is on the line, you have to take a swing, especially when they're playing up on defense. Someone should say, tip is not open. But give Angelica all the credit. Look at her. She has turned the game around, and Kenyatta came in and make the big kill, and they've really done what they've been asked
So
of.
Atwood now serving for the game, 14-13. There's a dink, and it's a 3-ball. Ljungqvist has to set to Lovelace. Again, Kenyatta a little tentative on the hit. Benton Bosman right between the back row, and Dave Shoji very upset. Both Atwood and Chase were there, and it lands right between them. Watch this.
On defense, you have to go for it. When a game is on the line, someone has to go. Look at how they're waiting. No defensive starting action. You've got to have some starting action.
Joji up off the bench. You saw the back of his head there. Lisa Johns serving. Misplayed by Pacific after a bad play by Anderson. And John Dunning is trying to call lift on Anderson, but the lift is called on Barbieri. And now here's an interesting move. Robin Amo is going to come in, provide some back row and some digging prowess.
They really do need a dig, and I think it's a smart move. You know, you have to take a chance, and that's what I like about Dave. He takes a chance.
14-13, Ljungqvist. Hawaii again with a chance to win game 2. Oh, bad pass. And it's over on a mistake by Pacific. And what else would you expect for somebody to end a game with? That ball was a deep serve and a mistake on the pass. And without the communication on the Tigers side, Hawaii wins game 2. They lead 2-0. Check tonight's Kilgo's match sketch. Kathy, what are you seeing so far tonight?
Well, Pacific really has had inferior passing. They haven't been able to pass the ball in position. A little bit better in the middle of game 2, but not enough to pull it out. But give Hawaii the credit. They put up the big wall early. They have been superior and really shutting down the UOP attack. And I think you have to give Carrie Anderson a lot of credit. She's really mixing it up. She's using the slide. She's going outside, and she's running down some passes that are off the net.
You know, we've always said when Hawaii has gotten into trouble over the past 5 or 6 years, they tend to go very simply outside left, and the big hitter gets blocked because the blockers are aware of it. There was a real key moment there, I believe, at 13-13, where those two players right there, Anderson and Ljungqvist, hooked up for a short set in the middle after they had had some miscommunication on a couple of balls. And I think you're right. Carrie Anderson deserves credit for going right back to that spot and going to the freshman of the year in the Big West, who should be an All-American in my book. And Ljungqvist put it down, Hawaii winning 15-13. Remember, a player from each team will be honored at the end of our match tonight for going beyond the call. GTE Hawaiian Tel will make a contribution for scholarships at the University of Hawaii. Let's check the statistics for game number 2. And again, the team's hitting even this time. Not a great hitting, but the big difference might be in blocks that time. And Hawaii with a couple more errors, but that's one game where maybe the stats don't tell the story.
I really think in the second game the stats don't tell the story because it was errors at the critical time. Hawaii made the big play. UOP made a tremendous comeback, but then when they had a chance, both of their hitters dinked the ball. You cannot dink the ball when the game is on the line. So if you see that game wasn't met on offense, it was just which team was a little steadier down the stretch.
And those block numbers, want to point out, include block assists, so it probably should be more like 6 and 5 on the blocks, not 14 and 11. Of course, block assists count as a half block.
Right.
And now Pacific's going to have to come all the way back. Now watch these teams as they came into the gym tonight. These are two teams that can be very intense but not very emotional, Kathy, as opposed to, say, Long Beach or Santa Barbara, which I think are very emotional teams.
Well,
these teams are much more the bigger...
I think it's the personality. I think smaller players sometimes talk a little bit more. Taller players seem to just be a little bit quieter. But I think we'll see what UOP is made of if they can come back.
So Pacific coming back onto the court now, trailing. It is 2-0 Hawaii. And I think if you're John Dunning, you got to pull out all the stops. Again, you got a wonder if we'll see Caldemeyer, but what he's telling us by Johns being in there is that it's not Lisa Johns that he's blaming right now. The passing has just not been very good.
And he's got to go with experience, and she's a little bit taller. Hawaii's attack on the left side is just a little bit too strong to have Sasha Caldemeyer blocking that side.
Remember, the winner of this match will play the winner of the Long Beach State-Ohio State game, which we'll have for you coming up. Between this match and that match, we will have Hot Hawaiian Nights on Fox 13. And then there's basketball with the University of Hawaii, so it's a complete night. Get the popcorn, get the socks on if it's chilly. It's chilly here. I never say that in Clum. Dump right off the bat, and there's a good dig by Anderson. And Hawaii puts it down. The middle of the court right now might as well be a lava pit for Pacific, because I can't tell you how many balls have landed there and nobody's going.
Or the campfire. I think somebody ought to throw some marshmallows out, and then maybe somebody would jump in there and try and dig it.
Pacific is either playing too far back in the back row, or the front row is just not getting a piece of enough balls to help out, and Hawaii jumps out to a 2-0 lead.
Well, this is just a great rotation for Hawaii. She gives away the side, and look at, they're just way inside, but UOP is in too close. They can't cover.
Atwood and Chase getting a piece of that ball, and Johansson gets it back.
Well, Johansson is keeping them in this match. She really is effective that time. She just tips the ball in the middle of the court.
0-2. Floor wipers coming out. Actually, Rick Olmsted wanted a floor wipe. Yes, they do actually even have to wipe the floor on the mainland, folks. Great irony here, Kathy, is that Long Beach State is in the process of building a new arena, which will seat 6,600 with capacity for 10,000. Hawaii is building a special events arena for next year, which will seat over 6,000 and be built up to 10,000 people. So these are the last chances folks have to see Plum Gym last week and this gold mine this week.
And thank God, that's all I have to say. Let's bring on the new arena.
You like that, huh?
Vincent Bosman off the touch, side out Pacific.
Well, we were talking earlier about the fans here and the fans in a lot of places. You really do feel the fans in Hawaii the best in the country.
Fans in Hawaii are the best. They cheer for a good play, a bad play. They get there early. They make you really want to play. That's what I like about it.
Point for Pacific. Hawaii a little sloppy up front. Johansson back to serve at 1-2.
Well, UOP is really going to have to start to improve their level, blocking some part of their game to become just a little bit more consistent. And serving, that's a pretty tough serve to start.
Johansson was a second-team All-American last year. And there's a ball. Barbieri, that connection has not been working in the middle. And again, you can't think it's because they haven't been playing. She missed 12 matches, but she played great against Notre Dame, a match that UOP won. She played great when they lost to UCLA 3-2, and she had a record night for herself last week.
Yeah, but this is a little bit more pressure because it's a better block, I think. The timing just isn't there.
Oh, a nice back set by Carrie Anderson. That has got to be one of the sweeter sets all year from her, as she, from behind her back, puts it right up to the net.
We just call that slicing it, and that, what a great move. She bump sets it. It shows you have to have underhand ball control, but Rebecca Downing does not get over there, and she's going to have to get warmed up pretty fast.
Rebecca Downing now into the middle from Waipahu, Hawaii, by way of Kamehameha. There's this middle play that did not work in the middle of game 2 and doesn't work there. And Anderson and Youngquist deciding, how high do you want it?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too low. She gets up so early, sometimes that affects how the setter sets the ball. But you always have to give a little bit of height and give the advantage really to the hitter.
One serving 3. Dump by Anderson, a little left-handed dump. She does not do that very often.
Well, the tip really is a good shot against UOP because they don't call for that. When the setter's in the front row, everyone should be calling. Look at how they wait. You cannot hesitate. There is too much hesitation out here.
Shota steps out, Lovelace up front for Hawaii. Back set and a nice play. Lisa Johns making something good out of something bad. That was not a good pass. She back set it, almost a back dump. And Rebecca Downey put it down. Benton Bosman will check out, and Lipan will come in. Downey leads the team in blocking. She had a career-high 9 kills when she played against Hawaii on October 30th. And also had her best ever blocking night against Hawaii. She was part of 8 blocks. So the homecoming was all right for Rebecca. It was not very good for the rest of her teammates. Hawaii, so far, tonight has not been very good.
Not very good, but Hawaii really is established in the right side. The right side is so difficult to defend on the step out, and UOP's blockers just cannot close the hole.
Too close for Downey. It hits off her body, and a lift is called. All set up by the block. It's 4-1. And checking right back in is Barbieri for Downey. Ron Dunning looking down the bench saying, who else can I try?
I think he'd like to put his assistant coach in, Janie. She was on the national team, but I don't think the rules will allow that.
I believe the eligibility's gone. Good serve by Youngquist. And Jeanette Richards hits one into the net. When they talk about volleyball being a team sport, it has really been a team effort tonight in terms of inappropriate times to miss hit balls. And Pacific hits one into the net, and John Dunning has to call timeout. Game 3 starting to slip. It's 5-1 Hawaii. 13 presents an exciting sports and entertainment lineup. Up next, of course, Hot Hawaiian Nights with featured guest Pikello. Then it's back to the gold mine for the match between Long Beach State and Ohio State. And then the tip-off tournament from the Blaisdell Arena, the Bows against Missouri, Kansas City. It's all coming up on Fox 13, so keep it here all night long. Nice hit down the line by Soltysik.
Well, UOP really has to pass the ball well, and that time they were able to set a quicker 4 set. Natasha, being only 5'10", really has to have a quicker set.
Good pass up front. Anderson. Lovelace right at the net. Knocks it over.
Well, this has been UOP's problem all year. They dig the ball, but they dig the ball over the net. You don't have to dig the ball off the net and give the setter or someone a chance to play the second ball.
There's an overset. Or an over dig, rather. Randy Brooks goes cross court. And Pacific with a chance, and that's mishandled by Pacific. Oh, and a silly net violation that time against Randy Brooks. Wasn't even close to being a chance for a block.
Well, what's amazing is they couldn't even hit the ball, and the blocker should have just backed off and yelled down. But I guess you just get a little over anxious.
Ball hit in that time. Soltysik, Hawaii thought it might go out, but it dives in front of the line.
And what we call that is just a deep rainbow shot. And again, it's between two defenders, and no one really is talking. They're caught charging a little bit on defense.
See it land in front of the line. It's Jim very much like Plum Jim in terms of a lot of lines on the court. That ball lands in and it goes over to Hawaii.
And what's amazing is these aren't really powerful hits. These are high, deep shots over the block. They're in the middle, and no one is taking a step on both sides.
Kathy Gregory's Santa Barbara team, I believe for the first time ever, beat Hawaii twice and Pacific twice in the same season this year.
Yeah, why am I sitting here if that's the case?
Because you just wanted to be here. That ball hit wide. Was it blocked? Not blocked. Linesman says not touched. Point to Hawaii, 6-2. Remember, this is a Pacific team that has beaten ranked opponents, including LSU, Notre Dame, Colorado, Santa Clara, and Stanford. So they've beaten some quality opponents this year. Crowd has not been a factor at all so far tonight. There's a Hawaii contingent which is behind the rainbow bench now, the Pacific contingent behind the Pacific bench. They haven't had much to say except let's go Tigers.
I think the big factor has been the outstanding play of Hawaii and really UOP being very effective except for a little bit of heart in game two.
Kerry Anderson, I think, with that varied offense has really kept UOP from getting back into the match by keeping it away from the blocking at the net. There's a dink by Soltysik because she had no option because she couldn't do anything else with that ball.
And now they've switched up. I think this is the most I've seen setters switched in a match. Now they go to Sasha. She tries to run a quick play. And again, the tip seems to be the only ball that's going down for UOP.
2 serving 7. Hawaii leads 2-0. John Fink and Kathy Gregory, happy to be with you on a Friday. And put down up front by Johansson.
Well, it's a really nice set by Sasha Kaldemeier. She really sets the step out. That's her best set because she has a good flick. Notice, look at the great timing, the tempo, and again, she hits the ball off the blocker's hands because the rhythm is a little bit quicker than Hawaii's used to.
Remember, she was a teammate and also was a good friend of Hawaii's Angelica Ljungqvist back in Sweden. Hawaii has used that Swedish connection now 3 times on a Furberg, Malin, Franson. And Franson recommended Angelica Ljungqvist to Dave Shoji, and sight unseen, he said, we'll take her. Showed it with a nice reverse bump set. There's the Pacific blockers. And Johansson finds a hole. Kaldemeier in the middle, and Johansson puts it down. It's 4-7.
Well, if you're down, you need a setter that's an aggressive spirit. It has no fear. Once no fear there, she goes again to the middle.
It was not a great hit, but it was right in the hole, and that's all that matters. Atwood can't get it through the block. Let's see what she does this time. This time she goes. Remember, a player from each team will be honored at the end of tonight's match for going beyond the call. GTE Hawaiian Tel will then make a contribution for scholarships at the University of Hawaii. 7-4. Sarah Chase goes down the line with the serve. Kaldemeier really barking orders out there now. And a point is Atwood, who couldn't go through the block, goes around the block, and I think she thought she could probably go through Kaldemeier, but it didn't work.
Well, what's interesting is that she's not using the outside, but it looks like she's just delaying, and there is a hole. Look at, she finds the hole in the seam, and the middle back is golden tonight.
I think Kaldemeier went up, and a good play by Crystal to just wait a little fraction of a second, catch the blockers coming down. And Chase serves at 8-4. Hawaii trying to wrap this up in 3. Johansson looking very much like her country mate with that step-out move and that one-legged leap.
Well, what Sasha Kaldemeier is giving this team is some energy. She's yelling at her hitters, and she's really forcing them to play better because she's pushing them.
Johansson in the back row now. If Hawaii can get a side out, let's see if they can take advantage of it. Atwood gets a lucky break. Off the net, over the net, and onto the Pacific side. Inside out Hawaii.
Call that the lucky bounce. The tape is bouncing Hawaii's way tonight.
Dump, and Podesta was there and couldn't get it up off the floor. Tara Podesta, who comes in to play back row. And timeout is called by Pacific. They started making a run, and now here goes Hawaii again. 9-4. Rainbow Wahine lead in game 3. Hawaii leads 9-4 in game number 3. We are live from the gold mine at Long Beach State.
Hawaii leads game 3, 9-4. Serving for the Rainbow Wahine, number 12, Brandy Brooks.
Brooks. Pass up front, Ljungqvist goes up, and Barbieri puts it right back.
Well, UOP has got to find a way to stay in the match, and it looks like blocking has been their best offensive weapon so far.
Robin Schmidt checks back in from Stockton, California. Kaldemeier in the back row to serve. So Kaldemeier and Johansson in the back, and Hawaii goes right over the block that time. Ljungqvist getting another kill.
Really has improved in the right side attack. You know, they've known they've always been good at left side, but I think the biggest improvement I see is in the slide as well as a nice high 5 set, and UOP's right side digging is not here.
Now to Lovelace up front. She replaced Key Williams in game 2, and Key has not been back. Ljungqvist almost got a block, but Johansson with an absolutely phenomenal dig, and it's still in play. Ljungqvist step out move. Benton Bosman goes up, and no one's there to help her, and that's almost as good as a free ball. She just nails that thing.
But what's unbelievable is that they really go up. She jumps with the setter. She thinks the setter's going to jump, and look at that. There is nobody up to block. That's what a player dreams about, not having a block up there.
Schmidt, mishandled by Hawaii. And free ball that Crystal Atwood's got to just hit over the net. She hits it into the bottom of the net.
It's surprising because she can hit so well in the front court, and all she has to do is keep that in. But I do believe it's called ball feeling. Sometimes they don't open their hand and they hit it on the bottom of the wrist.
Ace serve. There's a campfire ball. Lands right in the middle. Everyone gathers around and watches. 5-10.
What's amazing is no one goes on the ground or even tries. I mean, put a knee down.
5-10. Pacific trying to climb back. They've got to do it now. They've used up their timeouts, and they've used up their losses. They've lost 2 games. Mishandled. 6-10. Dave Shoji steps up. Looking down toward the end of the bench, and there's a floor wipe, and Dave Shoji has a little more time to think about it. Let's check tonight's Bank of America scorecard. Notre Dame winning last night in 5 over Minnesota, so the upset-minded Golden Gophers are gone.
What was interesting about that match, I heard at the very end, for the last point, the Minnesota setter dove for a ball out of bounds and had a concussion. She missed the ball. They had to take her out on a stretcher to the hospital. What a way! But that Minnesota team is really a great team, and they deserve a lot of credit.
Well, and the Big Ten is obviously showing themselves well. Wisconsin gave Hawaii some trouble. You got Ohio State moving over here to play against Long Beach State in our next match, and that should be an exciting one. You think that could be a good match because you've got a good defensive team?
Ohio State, if they can serve aggressively, but they have a very good ball control. And, you know, they've been there before. They were in the semifinals 2 years ago. They have the kind of team where it's a well-rounded team. I don't think a big team is going to beat Long Beach. It has to be a ball control team that has big outside hitters, and that's what Ohio State has.
Now let's go back and check our Bank of America scoreboard. Some other volleyball scores in a match tonight. There's a great match for you. The other Mid-East semifinal. Penn State coming back and beating Colorado. Any surprise there, Kathy?
I don't think so, because Penn State really is an outstanding team with great ball control, but Colorado is one of the few teams that has only 2 passers and runs what we call a swing attack. So if they got hot, but what I was told about these matches is they were both 3 hours long.
Yeah, Florida also in the South. We don't have the second score there yet with Texas playing, but that one at Texas. And Florida, no surprise, beating Georgia. Colorado's been a good team all year long. Penn State we saw in Hawaii at the beginning of the year, and they looked awfully good in the Wahine Classic.
It's very balanced.
So here's UOP with 2 aces, makes it 6-10 in game number 3. They've climbed the mountain before, only to slide back down. Outside, Ljungqvist off the hands, and UOP with a chance. Soltysik. Brooks overpasses a ball. Roof by Ljungqvist. Barbieri up close, and that's where Caldemeyer chose to go.
Well, the pass is a little bit tight, and I feel that she thought that she couldn't really set it outside because she was jammed, but a one-on-one on a close, tight play, and really the blocker has the advantage.
Oh, and Ljungqvist serves it right into the net. You know, Ljungqvist still playing with all that tape on her elbow, which you see there. She had that hyperextended elbow, and as trainer Melanie Tost says, because she hasn't had a chance to rest, those ligaments are still stretched, so that padding and that wrap is to keep her from stretching that arm too much. Off the antenna, Carrie Anderson trying to save a horrible pass. It's 7-10. It's real simple right now. Hawaii just can't control the UOP passes.
It's true.
Or rather, the serve.
Yeah.
Again, lack of communication. It's a tough play for Lovelace. And here's a chance for the Tigers. Over the top, it's 8-10.
Well, really it looks like Hawaii is tentative. They're not passing the ball on the net, and then they're just waiting for the counterattack. She's quickened up the rhythm, one-on-one, so someone really has to go, but they're just starting very slow to get to that ball.
There's a good pass by Hawaii. And Lovelace gets the kill. It's a pretty simple game when you do it right.
It's very simple. When the ball is passed on position, it just gives you so many more options. They've had trouble, but now the pass, but a good jump set. But look at how high she really hangs, and they just can't dig that ball.
Nice kill up front that time by Johansson.
But UOP is hanging in there. They're also starting to pass the ball a little bit more closer to the net, and they're really running middle quite a bit against Hawaii.
Hawaii won the first 2 games, but you just don't feel like they have been in total control yet because they've had some defensive collapses and have had some problems passing. Ace serve. Coming in the back row, Robin Schmidt gets an ace.
UOP has really raised the level. We call that a spin serve. We haven't seen that all night. Look at the spin and the rotation, and it just drops, but again, no movement.
Pacific, good communication. Schmidt called for that dig. Benton Bosman gets a piece of it. Johansson hits it right over Carrie Anderson's head. I don't think Carrie knew how far in she was, and that ball lands a good 3 feet in from the back line.
Well, again, as I said before, setter's responsibility is to dig on an off ball, not come into set, or center back has to rotate, and they're leaving the corners open.
It is 10-10. Pacific has come all the way back. Brooks off the antenna. A bad hit on an easy ball that she could have put into the block, and Dave Shoji has to call time. Hawaii self-destructing in game 3. We'll see if Pacific takes the generosity or gives it back. Some good blocking from Hawaii. Now their passing is gone in the dumper. What are you doing if you're on the bench and you're Dave Shoji?
I think that if Dave Shoji could really decide who should be the primary passer, and that player take about 50%, stabilize their passing, and they won't have a problem. They're hesitating. Nobody really wants to pass that ball. Look at Crystal Atwood now and Angelica. They're both sort of talking to each other, and I'm surprised that Kenyatta sort of is right in the middle. They're a little bit too close on their serve reception formation.
We'll see who gets the ball, because we'll see where it's passed, or where it's served, rather, by Robin Schmidt. She goes deep to Ljungqvist. There's a good pass. Brandy Brooks gets the kill.
And that's a smart hit because Sasha barely gets just her wrist over the net, so you've got to go down line, and that's a very smart move to hit over her.
Caldemeyer runs around to say to her teammates, let's go.
Stephanie Sota is in, replacing Kenyatta Lovelace. Sota serving.
Modesta comes in the back row. There's a dump, and now Hawaii goes for the ball. Oh, and Chase just missed it. I don't think Sarah Chase saw it right above her head.
Well, I wasn't sure if she thought that she was setting that ball over or actually there was going to be attack. It was a side set, and she jumped a little bit too early. A good defensive move, but now she has to really just joust at the net, and she doesn't move over far enough.
11-10 Pacific. Soltysik serving. Showed it back row, steady passer. Atwood, great dig on the side. And put down by Brooks. And Brandy Brooks very smartly staying away from the net.
Well, I think that she knew the last time that she netted, and when the ball is dug over the net, really you have plenty of time just to wait on the timing.
Sarah Chase trying to tie it up for Hawaii. Another bad pass. Roof by Ljungqvist. She takes on her fellow countrywoman.
Well, Ljungqvist against her friend, but there's no friends out tonight. When the game is on the line, you have to do, I've never seen so many one-on-one blocking. Nobody can hit an angle.
Ljungqvist having a field day. There's a bad pass. It's kept in play. Let's see if Hawaii can take advantage of the free ball. Back set to Brooks. Podesta keeping it alive. Up front, Betten Bosman. Again, no communication. Carrie Anderson and Ljungqvist, that ball was definitely playable.
You know what's amazing is that no one says anybody's name. Why doesn't someone yell their name out and you know who said it? They both are waiting for something to happen when they should make it happen.
11-11. Overpass and a free ball, and it's put down. Easy pickings for Betten Bosman. 12-11.
Well, UOP really has picked up their serving, but it looks like Hawaii is just a little nervous and they're tentative to pass the ball.
Atwood through the block, gets it back for Hawaii. Atwood's been the go-to player for Hawaii in clutch situations tonight, along with Ljungqvist.
I think they have to go to her because she has Sasha, the smaller blocker, so you've got to just keep setting her and have her use that small blocker.
Oh, a nice hit that time. It's in play. And Chase knocks it over. Betten Bosman hits it in. Side out UOP. What's amazing to me at this point in the season, even though Shota is in the back row, but at this point in the season, if you'd have told me Hawaii would be in a match like this with both Lovelace and Williams on the bench.
Well, but they don't rotate. Look at the defensive position. If the one player slides in front, center back has to go to the line. They're not rotating.
Atwood comes up for a ball that wasn't really hit cleanly. Hit a mile out by Johansson.
Well, I just think you have to realize the pressure of this is really taking its toll on the players. A lot of unforced errors. It's not maybe for lack of effort, but maybe the pressure is getting to both teams.
Well, it did at the start, and it might still be there. You know, a lot of times you work yourself into a match, and now Lovelace does come back in up front. Good pass by UOP. Caldemeyer says, yeah. Off the UH block and right onto the floor. Side out for Pacific.
Well, Dominique has been so quiet during this match. She really hasn't done much, but she has to establish some hitting on the left side. And again, have you ever seen so many holes in the block? The seam has been open all night.
Bad pass by Hawaii. Right at Atwood, and she misses it. It's 13-11.
This is really where they could use a player just to stand in the middle and pass the ball, but it's got to be a team effort. Someone's got to want to pass this.
Atwood better pass this time. Back to Ljungqvist, off the block, and Ljungqvist gets it back.
Well, she always comes up with a big play, and that's what you need, the money player. When the game is on the line, someone that's going to want it and not have a fear to take a swing.
Now Jocelyn Robbins will check in. Hawaii needs some good serving and a couple of digs. The Pacific is pulled ahead here in game 3. Good serve. Pacific, nice transition play that time, Kathy. 4 or 5 players moving around the court. I don't think Hawaii knew who to key on when Caldemeyer set the ball.
What's amazing is the blockers aren't following the hitter. That time Natasha came inside and hit a front 2-step, but I don't hear any of the blockers saying she's coming inside. That's your responsibility.
Lovelace is blocked. Lovelace tries to do it again, off the net, point to Pacific. It is now 14-11.
If UOP wins this game, you've got to give all the credit to Sasha Caldemeyer. She made this team not quit. She quickened up the tempo, and it's affected definitely Hawaii's play.
Overpass by Hawaii, but it's kept alive. Now Chase, nice pass to Anderson. And it goes on to the Pacific floor. Nice play by Chase because she could have hit that first ball, but she didn't think she had a good chance for it. And so she passed it, and it works to Hawaii's advantage. Anderson serving at 11-14. It has been Soltysik who has been doing all the passing for Pacific on the serves, and she has also helped Pacific get back into this match.
Well, I think that she has, but again, I think it's the setting tempo. Hawaii now cannot get two players up on the block.
Pacific for the game. Brooks off the block, kept in play in the back by Barbieri. Nice hit. And then Johansson just whiffs.
Well, again, I think she wants to keep the ball in play, and it's a tough play when you have to back off the net, but when it's for game point, you've got to keep it in play.
Lovelace serves, line drive serve, and again Soltysik with the pass. Now she comes up off the high hands. Point for Chase. Not a clean hit, and there it is in the middle again.
Those are the most difficult to defend because you really don't know where they're going to go. They really haven't used Sarah Chase as much in this match, but she's ready. Not much of an approach, but when you're about 6'2", you can just use that wingspan to get the ball down.
Cardinal sin, 12-14. You don't serve a low one. It's into the net.
Well, especially with that kind of form. What was that? Looks like a spin serve, sort of an unorthodox kind of spin.
Soltysik now to serve for UOP. Another chance to win game 3. Sarah Chase just dinked that one, and a nice timing play by Chase. The blockers did not come down. The back row did not come up.
Well, what's interesting about it is the blockers don't realize that she's not jumping. They shouldn't be blocking. They should be backing up that ball.
Well, the ball hits the net. Hawaii with 2 service errors.
Well, it's just what you call an unforced error.
14-12. Johansson, who's killed Hawaii with her serving. Ace on the lift. It's 15-12. Pacific comes back, has momentum, and wins game 3.
Hawaii now leads the best of 5 match, 2 games to 1.
Between games 3 and 4, Hawaii wins the first one easily, comes back in game number 2 after Pacific came back. Kind of a seesaw match, and Kathy, no one really grabbing this match and saying, I'm going to take control.
Well, there's been so many times where a team really could take charge, and just when you think that they're going to, it seems like they just close the door, or I should say they open it up for the other team, and really you can see a little lack of leadership in Hawaii. They had a chance to finish it, and they didn't step up, and then they got tentative. The secret in volleyball is you must have an aggressive spirit, and you must have a leader and someone that really does it on the floor, and right now they don't have that player.
Let's take a look at the game number 3 statistics. Statistics not always telling the story, but in game number 3, they certainly don't. Look at the hitting percentages, and yet Hawaii with less errors and better hitting and more blocks overall loses the game.
Does this show you that this is when you throw statistics out, but look at the serving of Pacific, which led to easy points, but it doesn't show the psychological damage.
Sure.
Even though you're getting kills, you're not converting for easy plays. And when the game is on the line, do you make the play? And obviously Hawaii's not doing that.
Well, I'll tell you something else. 8 aces is phenomenal for one game.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what else happened. There were other serves that forced Hawaii into bad passes.
Those spin serves by Robin Smith.
So you take 8 aces and about 5 other bad passes, and Pacific didn't have to worry about killing balls on the offensive side because Hawaii just wasn't getting it over the net.
Correct. Semifinal match, 2 games to 1. Back 4 Pacific to start.
So Caldemeyer back to serve. She's been a big difference since she came in. And she went out, and then she's come back in and stayed in.
Well, it really shows you that size is not the most important thing. The personality, your ability to make the players around you better is really what it's all about.
Well, she has come in and been firing her team up, and I really think they're starting to believe in this little freshman. She's done a great job so far, and there's a roof to get things started. Schmidt and Barbieri doing the job.
What's interesting, both these teams have sort of had this happen to them all season. They play good, they play bad. They haven't had the level of consistency, and so it's interesting that both of them match up making the same kind of errors, playing good, playing bad.
In Hawaii, Pacific losing 3-0 and 3-1 to Hawaii. As we mentioned, this is one of the great matches. I mean, one of the great rivalries. And in the late 80s, usually there were 3 years where the winner of this match in the regional went on to the Final Four.
They were definitely the dominant
won.
teams at that time.
That's right. Brooks goes off of Johansson, and it's over to Hawaii. 0-1.
Well, we'll see what Hawaii is made of. They really should get a good start now. Okay, they let something get away, but they have a 2-1 lead, and now they have to really change the tempo, and they have to get aggressive.
dump by Barbarieri.
And really, the offside player has to take that. That can't be a back row ball. Really, Brandy Brooks has to get off the net and take that because that's in between.
Benton Bosman looks over to the side. Coaches will tell her where to serve. She's looking at Joe Wortman in his 5th year as an assistant at UOP. He diagrams a place on the floor. He wants it to go. Nice dig by Shota. And a big hit by Brooks. So after Ljungqvist was blocked at the net, Stephanie Shota getting onto the floor.
Well, give the staff credit because she kept that in play, and that's what you have to do. Give your team more opportunities. Just like it looks the ball's not going to be in play, and a smart, high, flat shot into the blocker's hands.
Off the net and out. That ball hit wide by Robin Schmidt. 1-1. Voltishik is cross court. Atwood gets a piece of it, but it goes out back over to the Tigers.
Well, UOP really seems to be in a much better offensive flow. She's really delivering the ball a much faster tempo. The block is set, but they're way too early, and she hits inside the nice cross-court angle.
Served out by Barbieri, back over to Hawaii. We saw Hawaii had 4 aces last game. What we didn't see is how many errors Hawaii had as they were trying to creep back into it. They had 2 key service errors at the end of the match. End of the game, rather. Now Lovelace in. Shota takes a seat. That ball is hit long, not touched.
And
2-1.
UOP is running that slide play, but that time she just tried to go for high hands, but there were no hands to go for.
Atwood serves out.
Well, it really seems that both teams are still a little inconsistent, but if you look on the faces of UOP, they seem to be the more aggressive team.
And so aggressive.
Yeah, so aggressive. But I don't know. I've never seen so many mistakes. I still believe that both teams is still a little pressure. They're feeling if they can't get in a consistent rhythm. I don't know what the answer is, but I do believe a little more leadership on both sides might be the key.
That time Atwood comes up. 3 Hawaii players going for the dink at the net, and a net violation is called up front at UOP on a ball that Hawaii had Mo, Larry, and Curley going for. Didn't get a good swing on it, but they get it over and a net
violation. At least
violation.
they both went for the ball. They didn't hesitate.
3-1 Hawaii serving. And out. We have now seen 5 service errors.
All I can say is I'm not feeling so bad now. I was thinking our serve. We served 17 times in our match, and now I do believe it's this ball. I believe maybe this ball is cursed. There's something because everybody's serving it out.
Step out move to Chase. We haven't seen probably enough of that, but it's got to be set up by the good pass.
I think they have to have a balanced attack, and you have to keep your middle hitters happy. They have to sacrifice for the team, but you've got to set them on a good pass, and look at how high she gets on that replay.
Bosman nails one through the block. One thing that's become a constant right now for Pacific, Kathy, is Natasha Soltishik is taking every ball on the pass.
And that's what she has to do. That has to be a primary passer, and she's got to take the majority of the court, and she's doing it.
Nice dig in the back by Johansson, and Benton Bosman off the net. Does what Atwood did earlier and puts it down on the Hawaii side. It's 2-3.
Well, UOP has really just picked up the tempo. Looks like right now Hawaii's having trouble blocking the cross court.
Lovelace off the block, high up to the ceiling, but misses the lights. Again, this gym very much like Clum in terms of the lights being right above the court. And Brooks went across court, didn't get a full piece of it. Tough angle for Brandy, but she gets it back.
But both teams have been very successful in hitting the cross court because the left side defensive player is really not getting down and digging the ball up on position.
And the big blockers at the net, forcing them to not go down the line so much. Shota checks back in for Lovelace and picks up a serve off of Kaldemeyer. It's going to go out. And Johansson, that's what happens. Johansson has not done a great job passing. And I think Shota might work at her.
Yeah, she's one of the primary, but again, Natasha is the key passer, so she should move over a little bit and take the pressure off her, although she comes back with a little better pass, but not perfect.
No, it's not a good set, and a chance for Hawaii. Chase in the middle, through the block.
And really, that's what Hawaii has to do. They've been so successful when they've run middle on transition. You try to go as quick as you can, and you have to make that blocker commit with you, and they don't get in front of her. They give her a whole foot. She has to hit that ball.
See if Shota goes back to the same place. No, she goes the other side this time. Shota calls for it nicely in the back, and Chase has to just pop it up. Benton Bosman into the block. Nobody there for UOP. 4 hits. Point to Hawaii.
Hawaii is starting to do what they do well. Really put up the big block, stop the left side of UOP, and John Dunning's looking down, trying to figure out, should he call a timeout? And I think that's a good move, John, don't you think?
I do too. He does call the timeout. This is where his team rallied last game. We'll see if they can come back after this. They lead 6-2 in game number 4. Take a look at some more scores up our Bank of America scoreboard in NCAA volleyball regional play. Penn State, the first team to go to the Final Four. They beat Notre Dame rather convincingly, 15-12. You see the scores there. Texas goes to the semifinals. They win in the semifinals, that should read.
That's right.
Texas over Duke. They'll play Florida tomorrow night to see who another Final Four team is. It's all happening this weekend, and we'll keep you updated. One other match we want to tell you about quickly, UCLA and Stanford, 1-1 heading into game 3. And a bad hit by Brandy Brooks, and she smiles because she gets the point.
Well, I think John Dunning is really upset about the no call. There's some helicopter landings in here, some UFOs, and nothing is being called out here.
7-2 again, a deep serve, and Johansson, not a great pass. Barbieri just pops it long. It's 8-2. Stephanie Shota has come into the game.
She really has turned the game.
What a great job.
Well, not only great serving, but then she's like a vacuum cleaner back there. She's just scooping everything up.
Well, and Dunning a little bit unhappy with his team. As you can imagine, he has to burn his second time out. Hawaii now leads 8-2 in game 4. Calling their second, or calling it second and final timeout. And Kathy, I think that John Dunning said, I got to call it now because this is just getting out of hand.
I think so. I think you can't wait when the match is on the line and they're just not doing anything. They've got to make a commitment to stop this rally.
Last time a better pass, a better swing, and everything works out. And it all started when Johansson finally got a ball that Caldemeyer had a choice what to do with.
It's really true. Sometimes a setter really is like on an island by yourself out there because there's no really where to go, and the decision is so difficult.
2-8, Caldemeyer back to serve. She's gotten a lot of points. Barbieri has to set it to Benton Bosman, who gets another kill. And John Dunning cannot believe a lift is not called, and now he's over to Rick Olmsted. Rick Olmsted says, have a seat, John.
Well, it looks like they're letting things go very loose. And
what you want is consistency.
Consistency, and it's consistent both ways.
Cross-court hit is wide by Atwood. UOP now at 4-8.
We're seeing the same thing happen. Just when a team is ready to take over, they just keep the door open a little bit and give UOP a chance. Unforced errors. It's not like the other team is earning it.
With Soltysik in the back row, with Johansson in the back row, and Caldemeyer having to serve and then come up, you would think it'd be a good opportunity for Hawaii to get the side out. Oh, great defense by Pacific. They're scrambling to get him back in the play now, and Chase goes cross-court. Caldemeyer calls for the ball, looks around, and just dumps it. Free ball for Hawaii. Nice dig. Overpass into the antenna by Schmidt. Oh, Robin Schmidt had a ball that she could have just kept in play. Might have tried to do too much.
I think she decided, should I set it with my hands or bump it? She decided to bump set it and just way too far out for the hitter to hit it.
8-4. Roof up front, 9-4. Set up to Barbieri in the middle.
And Angelico Young knows now that she's setting the quick sets and she's cheating over. And look at how she's already there waiting for that ball to be set, and no way that's getting by.
Free ball in the middle, and Atwood drills it. 10-4.
Great serving by Hawaii, and really they're forcing these balls to be passed over the net. And there's someone gives you a free ball. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You hit it away from the defensive players.
That time Soltysik does what she's been doing great. Good pass, overpass by Shota, but in play. Ljungqvist, Atwood. Oh, Atwood tried to bump a ball. Not a bad idea as the players were up at the net, but she just went wide with it.
Good idea because, as I said before, the corners are open on both sides of the court, but just missed it.
Benton Bosman now serving for Pacific. Sarah Chase with not a good pass, but a good reverse set to Brooks. And a dig by Johansson. Did not go over. 4 hits on the Pacific side.
Well, that's
10-4.
a golden opportunity because if UOP converts on that, it gives them some emotion and gets them back in the game, but they couldn't hit it over.
Brooks very carefully gets her serve in. Caldemeyer goes back set to Schmidt, who hits it wide. Was it touched? No, and net violation called on Hawaii.
Looked like Crystal Atwood, if you can tell by her face that she got her hands into the net.
Again, it was hit wide, so you got 2 errors in the same play, but the net violation overruling the out ball. .410, Pacific trying to cut the lead in half. Bosman had a ball that was tipped by Schmidt and couldn't get it up. Side out, and now Kenyatta Lovelace checks in up front.
And I think this is a good move. Both teams appear to be playing a little better defense. Look at this play. They're going for the ground, but look at that position. She doesn't move her feet. She just extends her arm. You have to move your body in position to dig that ball.
Tough dig when you go at it sideways. 10-4. Also back in is Pam for defensive purposes. Good dig by Sarah Chase. Here's Lovelace. Yes! When it works, it looks awfully pretty for Kenyatta Lovelace. It's 11-4.
But what's great about that play is that she's facing cross court. She's jumping up probably at the 5th floor. They're down at the 2nd floor, and it's straight down the line.
Nice play, but Hawaii looking for the lift. Kathy, what do you think?
The lift, they're looking. They better start looking because there are no throws in this game, though. That's one thing. If I was a setter, at least I'd say, hey, then it doesn't matter. Just hack it up out there because they're not calling anything.
4-11. Good pass. Miss hit by Lovelace. Just missed the ball.
You know, she jumps so high, but sometimes her timing is off. You know, she just runs a little bit under the ball.
Well, the run-up is key, but you got to wait for the ball so you know where to run up. Back set, Ljungqvist. Nice tip over the top. Back over. Smart play by the freshman.
And you know what's amazing? That's the first tip off a slide we've seen all night. Every team really has not used that, and that will really open up the defense. A nice, smart play.
11-5. Hawaii 4 points away from going to the regional final against the winner of our next match. Jocelyn Robbins checks back in. She'll do a little serving. Nice hit by Sarah Chase, 12-5.
Well, Sarah Chase has been quiet, but not anymore. She's really starting to get into the offense. She can go in front of the setter or behind, and that's why she's been hard to stop.
Robbins, good serve. Ball hit inside, yes, Soltysik gets it inside the line.
Well, that was a nice set. It was way to the outside, and it looked like Carol.
Benton Bosman and Johansson up front. So if you're Pacific, this is the rotation to rally in. Right through the block goes Lovelace. Of course, at 5'12", any rotation is the
right.
rotation to rally in.
There's no pressure in that position, but you got to give Kenyatta a lot of credit. She's come in, she's done what's asked of her, and really that's hard off the bench when you're not used to really playing that position, even though this year she has done it a little bit more because of her injury.
Caldemeyer goes out to Benton Bosman off the touch. Robbins taking a ball, and Anderson knocks into her.
Well, but again, I'm just not sure if someone called it. From our vantage point, I'm not sure.
I think Robbins was going for the ball at the last second when Anderson called for it. It was just too late.
Probably so.
Now Anderson has to take a ball that was overpassed by Robbins. And Dave showed you up off the bench, thought Benton Bosman was over the net. And now Ljungqvist will come back in for Robbins. So Jocelyn gets a point for Hawaii. Pacific gets a point back, and Jocelyn will take a seat for now. Johansson serving from deep in the court. Ball served out. Good perception by Atwood. Stood by the line and said, if it's wide of me, it must be out.
I don't have the stats, but I have to believe we're in double figures for both teams on service errors. What do you think, John?
I think you may be right. And Hawaii had $1.5 million last week against Wisconsin. It is not the air in this gym, I will tell you that. Brooks down the line. Brilliant hit by Brandy Brooks. The block shifted in. Brandy Brooks drills it down the line. Hawaii doing it with a lot of different hammers tonight.
And that's
Watch.
what you have to do. You have to take what the block gives you. It looks like she just hammers away, but a hole in the block.
Benton Bosman off the tip. Net violation called against Hawaii. That time it's called on Sarah Chase.
For UOP, Robin Schmidt returns. Schmidt replaces Tara Podesta. Sasha Kaldemeyer serving.
Robin Schmidt in. Tara Podesta out. And Kaldemeyer serving. It's 6-13. Atwood goes cross court. It's out. 7-13. Cutting that angle a little bit too much.
Well, I think Hawaii just have to be patient right now. They know that they're up. Just don't give away too many unforced errors. Keep the ball in play and depend upon their block. Their block has done the job all night.
Hawaii asking apparently a little screening going on up front on the serve. Under the net is Sarah Chase. It's 8-13.
Center line violation, point UOP.
Now Brandy Brooks will switch with Sarah Chase in terms of positioning on the serve. Maybe you can explain what Carrie Anderson was asking for in terms of the screening on the serve.
Well, you have to be 3 feet away, and if you're right in the service area and you're too close, you really don't have clear vision of the ball, but it looks like they were far enough away, but you can definitely ask what the problem is right now. That Crystal Atwood's having trouble sighting out the play. She's not getting a good approach. They might have to swing a play to Brandy Brooks in this rotation.
Well, if Pacific scores again, you can expect a timeout. There's a bad pass by Hawaii, but Anderson got a piece of it. And Atwood gets it back doesn't get it back, it comes back over. UOP gets the point, 9-13. Dave Shoji up off the bench. He's gonna call timeout. Hawaii 2 points away, but Pacific not letting them have it. It is 13-9, Pacific coming back in game 4. Points, now they lead by only 4.
Well, they're having trouble sighting out with Crystal Atwood. Hasn't been able to put the ball down. They're going to have to swing a play away from her, I believe.
Shota passing up front. Step out move. Ooh, Pacific keeps it in play. Benton Bosman. Back set. Hawaii going to the right side this time. Lift is called against UOP. And Hawaii gets it back on a mistake.
Well, they finally called one, and I do believe that she's holding on the ball too long, even though I think they're booing because they're surprised that a play has been called, but I think it's a good call. But
Sarah Chase moving gingerly, and she's going to come out. Robin Amo will come in. Don't know what it is. Sarah Chase not moving very well.
Robin Amo replacing Sarah Chase.
Looks like her leg. Looks like possibly her right knee or her leg.
Yeah, she had a pulled muscle earlier in the year in her upper calf or up in her thigh. And now Amo comes in to serve. Got to get it in. It's 13-9. She goes at Johansson. Johansson much better pass than earlier. Chance for Hawaii. Can they get the 14th point? Not yet. Benton Bosman with a big kill and looks over at Hawaii and says, take that.
Well, Bosman is coming alive. I don't know if they're drinking water or there's special Gatorade over there, but that's the kind of emotion and fire you have to have. And again, no one can dig the cross-court angle. Atwood back on her heels.
That ball was hit awfully hard. Bosman will serve. Brooks off the hands up. Or Atwood off the hands up front. Back set to Soltysik. Good run that time by Atwood. She goes cross court, and Soltysik made a guess and then said, I'm by the line, it's going past me, so it's going to go out, but it lands inside, and now it's 13-9. Both Shoji and Howard Wallace up off the bench barking instructions. Shota hits it into the ceiling. Side out to Pacific.
Well, Hawaii's, is having trouble because I think UOP has really raised the level of their aggressive hitting. They're really swinging the ball with some impact.
Barbieri serves. Randy Brooks, good communication, yells out, it lands out.
And really, that was the first time we've actually really heard them call a great call at a good time.
Well, that's a big time to serve out. Benton Bosman has to check out now. Desiree Lai-Pam checks in. We're looking at who comes back next year for Pacific. Everybody comes back, supposedly, but Soltysik and Barbieri. And for Hawaii, of course, the 3 seniors, Shota Atwood and Lovelace. 13-9. Can Lovelace get 14? Not yet. Another good block. That ball's hit long. Was it touched? No, it's a point to Hawaii, and it's 14-9. Soltysik thought it was touched. And now, for the first time tonight, Hawaii can end the match. But first, we'll have some shoe tying on the Pacific side.
Isn't it amazing how the shoelaces just seem to come untied
well, it broke.
at point? Oh, did it break?
It did break.
Oh,
I just
okay,
saw.
all right, did break.
Yes, Johansson gave a piece of the shoelace
Okay, you're right.
to Rick Olmsted.
Did she rip it off herself or did
Outside, Schmidt through the block and in front of the diggers. I think thought she was going to get that ball, and Atwood kind of dove in front
I know,
of her.
well, at least they were aggressively
both
going for it, and you can't fault that.
That's right.
But a nice back set by Sasha Kolmar to split the block.
Schmidt serving at 9-14. Randy Brooks with a good pass. Here's Lovelace. Oh, mishandled. They call on Ljungqvist. She had a free ball and she had a good idea, but she got two hands.
Yeah, I think what she wasn't deciding to block it or hit it, and as a result, she sort of caught it. I think it was a good call.
No argument from Hawaii, 10-14. Good pass from Atwood. Big hit by Lovelace. All started with a good pass, and now Hawaii to serve for the game again. And very simply, you're going to see up front now Cecilia Goods coming in for one play. All they want to do is make one block.
Well, I think all she's thinking about is just block this ball and try to follow the hitter.
All right, Ljungqvist to serve at 14-10. Very Game Pacific Club hanging in the match. Back set. Here's Hawaii's first chance on this serve. Lovelace goes long. It wasn't even close.
Well, she took a swing, and again, I think maybe sometimes you get anxious at that point game, and she again ran a little under the ball.
And Lisa Johns comes in for Caldemeyer. How about this substitution?
Well, I think she's going for a blocking specialist right now. Oh, no, she isn't. Let's see. Yes, she is. They're going for a blocking specialist right now to have a big blocker and to have 3 hitters. Go for blocking right now.
Anjanette Richards comes back in. Bosman comes back in.
Soltysik serving.
So a lot of wholesale substitutions. Pacific trying everything. They're a point away from ending their season, trying to stay alive, and Soltysik will serve. Good pass from Lovelace. Right back to her. That time she gets it. Oh, a net violation, though, was called on Pacific. And now Hawaii goes back to serve, and in her anxiety, well, you think Lovelace was pumped? She ran back to serve.
That was the 100-yard sprint. I think she could have broken the record.
But it's Anderson who serves for the match, and she gets it on the ace! 15-10, and Hawaii's going to the finals of the Northwest Regional on an ace serve. It dies in front of the back row, and Hawaii wins in 3 straight. 15-6, 15-13, 12-15, and 15-10. And Kathy, you got to think Hawaii's going to have to step it up a notch tomorrow night, but as Dave Shoji has said, just get me a win.
Well, that's what I think the important thing is. You get through this first game, and then the pressure is a little bit more on the seeded team, which will be probably Long Beach a heavy favorite. And you've got to give Hawaii credit. They didn't play their best, but the most important thing, the outcome of victory.
Absolutely. Our GTE Hawaiian Tel players of the match. For Pacific, it is Sacha Caldemeyer. It was Caldemeyer who came into the match and kept Pacific in the match. Her offense really threw Hawaii off, and she had some nice serving, too. And for Hawaii, Angelica Ljungqvist, the big play player. When Hawaii needed it, they went to Ljungqvist. Don't go away. Up next, it's Hot Hawaiian Nights with featured guest Pikello. Then it's back to the gold mine in Long Beach, California for the Northwest Regional Playoffs, our second match featuring the 49ers of Long Beach State against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Of course, the winner will play Hawaii tomorrow night at 5:30. We'll be back in about 30 minutes. Until then, this is John Fink for Kathy Gregory, reminding you that Hawaii wins it in 4. See you later, folks.